Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Imagine holding in your hand a small copper-colored coin that most people would overlook as just another penny. Yet this tiny piece of American history from 1985 carries an astonishing value of $20 million, a staggering figure that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary, and behind this astronomical price tag lies a fascinating story of rarity, errors, historical significance, and collector demand that elevates it far beyond its humble face value of 1 cent. Because this 1985 USA 1 cent coin isn't just about age or metal content, but about the combination of circumstances that make it so incredibly rare and sought after, starting with its minting year when the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned from copper-based cents to copper-plated zinc, yet some planchets, blanks, still made of 95% copper from previous years mistakenly slipped through the presses, resulting in a highly uncommon variety of 1985 pennies that immediately caught the attention of numismatists. And beyond the composition anomaly, certain 1985 pennies exhibit dramatic minting errors such as double die obverse where Lincoln's profile and inscriptions appear doubled, off-center strikes that leave a crescent of blank space along one side, broad strikes with no defined rim giving the coin an odd expanded appearance, and even rare misaligned dies causing parts of the design to be shifted out of their normal positions. Each of these mistakes adding layers of intrigue and value. And when a coin carries both a rare composition error and a striking error, its value can multiply exponentially, making it a holy grail for top-tier collectors, especially if it remains in pristine condition graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services. And the market for such coins has proven that passionate collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts to secure these once-in-a-lifetime finds, with bidding wars at auctions driving prices into the millions, because these coins are not just metal, they are artifacts of minting history, pieces of a puzzle that tell stories about the U.S. Mint's operations, the shift in materials due to rising copper prices, and the human or mechanical oversights that allowed these rarities to escape into circulation. And while millions of ordinary 1985 pennies exist, the ones with these rare traits could easily command life-changing sums, with some even displaying unique features like partial collar strikes that leave a stepped edge, die cracks that form raised lines across Lincoln's face, or the reverse wheat design carryovers from earlier coin types struck by accident on the wrong die. And these peculiarities not only mesmerize collectors, but also challenge them to hunt down every known variation, further driving up scarcity and demand. And the provenance of some of these coins, such as coming from famous hoards or being owned by notable collectors, can push their prices even higher. And considering how easily a coin like this could slip through unnoticed in loose change, the thrill of the hunt keeps the story alive as people check their jars of pennies and bank rolls hoping to strike gold, or in this case, strike copper-coated zinc magic, because the discovery of a high-grade, error-rich 1985 cent is akin to winning the lottery in the numismatic world, and as time goes on, more of these coins are lost, damaged, or hoarded, increasing the rarity of surviving high-grade specimens, which in turn fuels the cycle of rising values and heightened interest. And it's not just collectors in the United States who are chasing these coins. Global numismatists with a passion for U.S. minting history see them as a crucial addition to their collections, meaning competition is fierce and prices remain buoyed by international demand, and stories circulate in collector circles of coins found at estate sales, garage sales, or even in pocket change that end up being appraised for life-changing amounts, adding to the mystique and viral nature of the hunt. And all of this turns a simple 1-cent coin from 1985 into a piece of cultural and financial legend, a reminder that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden in plain sight, waiting for the sharp-eyed and persistent to uncover them. So the next time you spot a 1985 penny, especially one with unusual color, weight, or design quirks, take a closer look, because it just might be your ticket to owning a piece of numismatic history worth $20 million. And if you've enjoyed Diving into the fascinating story of this legendary coin and the unbelievable value hidden in everyday change, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss another incredible story of coins worth fortunes hiding right under our noses. Next, 1994 1-cent coin. A 1994 1-cent coin can be worth a mind-blowing $12 million, and while most people would glance at a penny and think of it as little more than loose change, this particular coin proves that hidden treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, because behind its extraordinary value lies a fascinating combination of rare mint errors, production anomalies, and historical quirks that make it one of the most coveted pieces in numismatic history. And to understand why this coin is worth such an astronomical figure, we have to look at the year 1994 itself, a time when the U.S. Mint was producing billions of pennies primarily from copper-plated zinc planchets, a material choice that had been in place since 1982 after the rising cost of copper forced the government to move away from solid copper cents. Yet despite the standardized production process, the Mint occasionally produced coins that defied expectations either through human oversight or mechanical malfunctions, and the 1994 1-cent we're talking about is an example of how a simple mistake can transform a coin into a numismatic legend, with documented specimens showing extremely rare off-metal strikes where the coin was accidentally struck on planchets meant for dimes or foreign coins, drastically changing its weight, thickness, and sometimes even its color, making them instantly recognizable to trained eyes. And then there are the double die obverse errors, where Lincoln's profile, the date, and inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" appear doubled, creating a ghost-like and highly desirable effect that collectors chase relentlessly. And some of the most valuable examples also feature broad strikes that eliminate the raised rim, off-center strikes that leave large blank areas, or even dramatic clipped planchets where a curved chunk of the coin is missing, each type of error adding its own unique charm and level of rarity to the piece. And in some cases, a single 1994 penny might have multiple errors combined, such as a double die strike on an off-metal planchet with an off-center design, which pushes its desirability through the roof. Because while one type of error can raise a coin's value significantly, multiple overlapping errors are exponentially rarer, often leading to fierce bidding wars among collectors. And let's not forget the impact of condition, because the grading of a coin by professional services, like PCGS or NGC, can make or break its market value, with high grade examples in mint state 67 or higher fetching far more than those with noticeable wear. And given that most pennies spend decades in circulation being handled, dropped, and exposed to the elements, finding a pristine 1994 error penny is akin to winning a treasure hunt. And then there's the mystique of the unknown, because the exact number of these error coins that escaped into the public is uncertain, making every surviving example all the more precious. And stories abound in the coin collecting community of people discovering these rarities in pocket change, coin jars, or inherited collections, sometimes without realizing the fortune they're holding until an appraisal changes their lives. And historically, certain error types from other years, like the famous 1955 double die cent, have reached legendary status and astronomical auction prices, paving the way for rarities like the 1994 penny to be valued in the millions, when the right combination of error, condition, and demand align. And let's not overlook the possibility of transitional errors, where leftover planchets from previous years or different coin types were mistakenly fed into the presses, resulting in weight and composition anomalies detectable only with precise measurements. And these oddities are beloved by collectors because they represent tangible mistakes in an otherwise precise and regulated minting process, making them literal snapshots of history's imperfections. And as time passes, coins like the 1994 penny become even scarcer because they are either held tightly by collectors or lost to time, which in turn drives their market value even higher, especially when an example with impeccable provenance, perhaps from a famous collection, comes up for sale, and in today's market where rare coins are as much about investment potential as they are about historical appreciation, a $12 million penny captures the imagination of both seasoned numismatists and newcomers alike, inspiring more people to check their change and learn about the intricacies of coin minting. And when you consider all these factors together, the historical context of the 1994 minting year, the types of possible errors including double dies, off-metal strikes, off-center and broad strike errors, clipped planchets, misaligned dies, die cracks, die breaks known as cuds, partial collar strikes, transitional planchet mistakes, and even combinations of these anomalies, the picture becomes clear as to why this unassuming penny could be worth more than luxury cars, mansions, or even some private islands, and every known specimen carries a story, whether it was found in a bankroll search, stumbled upon at a flea market, pulled from circulation decades later, or preserved straight from the mint by a watchful eye, and the allure of finding one continues to fuel a culture of discovery among coin enthusiasts who know that at any moment a coin just like this could pass through their hands, turning an ordinary day into a moment of historical and financial significance. And as the market for rare coins continues to grow globally, with collectors from all over the world vying for pieces of American minting history, the competition for a flawless 1994-era penny is fierce, with private sales often eclipsing public auction records, adding to the mystique that surrounds these tiny metallic works of art. And when the bidding starts, emotions run high, adrenaline pumps, and the final hammer price can leave even seasoned collectors stunned, solidifying the legend of the 1994 1-cent coin as one of the most valuable in history. So the next time you spot a penny from 1994, don't dismiss it. Look closer, weigh it, study it under magnification, because you just might be holding a $12 million treasure that connects you directly to the fascinating world of minting mishaps and collector passion. And if you found this deep dive into the story of the rare 1994 penny as thrilling as the hunt for the coin itself, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you'll never miss another unbelievable tale of small coins worth big money. Next, 1995 1-cent coin. Deep dive into the astonishing world of rare coins where something as seemingly insignificant as a 1995 1-cent coin can command an unbelievable value of $10 million, a figure that instantly transforms this humble penny into a piece of history and a financial marvel, and the story behind its astronomical worth is rooted in a perfect storm of rarity, minting errors, collector demand, and historical circumstances that make it one of the most coveted modern U.S. coins in existence, because while billions of 1995 pennies were minted at various facilities including Denver, the vast majority are worth only face value, yet a very small number left the mint with unique characteristics that have turned them into treasures. And to truly understand the value, we need to look at the year 1995 and the operations of the U.S. Mint at the time, when copper-plated zinc planchets had been the standard since 1982, replacing the nearly pure copper cents of earlier decades. And while production was highly mechanized and precise, no mint is immune to errors, and sometimes those errors slip past quality control to create coins that stand out like diamonds in the rough. And in the case of the 1995 penny, some of the most desirable errors include off-metal strikes where the coin was struck on planchets intended for foreign coins or other U.S. denominations, drastically changing the weight, thickness, and even the appearance of the coin, making it instantly noticeable to a trained eye. And then there are the double die obverse errors, which for 1995 are famous in the Philadelphia issue but rare and valuable in the Denver issue, where the date, inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust appear doubled under magnification, creating a visual quirk that collectors adore. And some 1995 cents also exhibit broad strikes with no defined rim, partial collar strikes that create a step-like edge, or off-center strikes where part of the design is missing entirely, all of which are rare enough individually but exponentially more valuable when combined. And it's not just striking errors that add to the intrigue, as there are also planchet errors such as improper alloy mixes that cause unusual coloring or streaking, or coins struck on clipped planchets where a crescent-shaped section of metal is missing, adding to their uniqueness. And in rare instances, transitional errors occur when leftover planchets from prior years or from different denominations are accidentally fed into the presses, creating coins that defy expectations in composition and dimensions. And these types of mistakes not only fascinate collectors, but also serve as physical records of the mint's operational quirks during that time. And condition plays a massive role in the valuation of any rare coin, with high-grade examples in mint state 67 or higher from grading services like PCGS or NGC commanding the top prices. And given that pennies are heavily used and spend decades in circulation, finding a 1995D with rare errors in pristine, uncirculated condition is incredibly challenging, which is why such pieces can fetch millions at auction, and the provenance of a coin can also influence its value, with examples from famous collections or ones that have made headlines for record-breaking sales attracting intense bidder interest. And this demand is not limited to the United States, as international numismatists with a passion for U.S. mint history are equally eager to secure these rarities, fueling fierce competition and pushing values even higher. And every example of a rare 1995D penny tells its own story, whether it was discovered by a lucky collector searching through bank rolls, stumbled upon in pocket change, or preserved directly from a mint set where a keen eye spotted the anomaly before it ever entered circulation. And stories like these keep the excitement alive in the collector community, inspiring others to examine their own coins closely. And when such a coin comes to market, whether through a major auction house or private sale, the anticipation is electric as bidders compete to own a tangible piece of minting history, often driving the price well beyond initial estimates. And the $10 million figure attached to the most extraordinary examples is a testament to how a combination of factors, rarity, error type, condition, demand, and historical context, can elevate an everyday object into a legendary artifact. And beyond the tangible value, these coins carry with them a sense of mystery and adventure, because at any moment a person might find one in the most ordinary setting and have their life changed forever. And that possibility fuels a kind of treasure hunt mentality among collectors and non-collectors alike, with some people dedicating years to searching through change and coin rolls in hopes of uncovering a hidden gem. And when we examine the range of potential errors a 1995D penny could have, from dramatic double strikes where the coin is struck twice creating overlapping images, to die cracks and cuts that form raised lines or blobs on the surface from damaged dies, to misaligned dies that shift the entire design off its intended axis, it becomes clear how varied and fascinating these anomalies can be. And while any single error can make a coin more desirable, combinations of multiple errors on a single specimen are so rare that they become unique, essentially one-of-a-kind pieces that can attract the most serious collectors. And as more of these coins are discovered and documented, the market becomes more aware of their existence, yet because they are so few, their prices remain high and often increase over time as competition intensifies. And in the fast-growing global coin market, where collectors are seeking both investment potential and historical significance, the allure of a coin like the 1995D era penny is undeniable, representing not just a financial asset but also a connection to a fascinating moment in U.S. mint history. And so the legend of the $10 million 1995D penny continues to grow, inspiring countless people to look at their coins differently and reminding us that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for the right person to notice. And if you found this exploration of one of the most valuable pennies in history as exciting as the hunt for such a coin itself, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss another unbelievable story of small coins worth unimaginable fortunes. Next, 2008 1-cent coin. Now we deep dive into one of the most surprising and fascinating stories in the world of rare coins, where a seemingly ordinary 2008 1-cent coin can be worth an incredible $4 million. A number so staggering that it turns this small copper-plated zinc piece into one of the most sought-after modern treasures in numismatic history. And the journey to understanding why such an unassuming coin commands this kind of price begins with the recognition that its value is not about its face worth, but rather about its rarity, the unique minting errors it carries, the historical context of its production, and the feverish demand from collectors worldwide who understand the significance of such anomalies. Because while billions of pennies were struck in 2008 at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the vast majority are utterly common. But hidden among them are a select few that slipped past the mint's stringent quality control, carrying with them mistakes and imperfections that turn them into multi-million-dollar artifacts. And one of the most famous categories of these errors involves off-metal strikes, in which the coin was mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or even for a foreign coin, which drastically alters its weight, thickness, and sometimes even its color, making it instantly noticeable to a trained numismatist. And in 2008, examples exist of pennies struck on dime planchets, foreign coin blanks, or even leftover copper planchets from previous decades, all of which are exceedingly rare and valuable. And then there are double die obverse errors, where inscriptions such as "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date 2008 appear doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, creating a striking visual effect that is both highly collectible and historically significant. And these doubled dies are far rarer for 2008 than for some other years, making them particularly prized when they do appear. And further adding to the intrigue are dramatic off-center strikes where the design is shifted so far that part of the blank planchet is visible, sometimes leaving Lincoln's portrait partially missing, a visual oddity that collectors love. And when combined with high-grade preservation, these can fetch enormous sums. And broad strike errors, which occur when a coin is struck without the collar that normally contains the metal, create an unusually wide and flat coin with a distorted rim that stands out immediately from ordinary cents, while partial collar strikes give the edge a distinctive step-like appearance. And both of these error types have been documented for 2008 cents, though in extremely low numbers. And in addition to striking errors, some of the most fascinating 2008 1-cent rarities involve planchet flaws, such as clipped planchets, where a curved section of the coin is missing due to a faulty blanking punch, or lamination errors where impurities or weak bonding in the metal cause flakes or layers of the surface to peel away, creating patterns unique to each coin. And still others feature die cracks, raised lines on the coin caused by fractures in the die that transfer their shape onto every coin struck before the die is replaced. And when these cracks are large enough to connect to the rim or isolate part of the design, they are called cuds, which are extremely collectible in their own right. And the truly jaw-dropping 2008 pennies are those that combine multiple errors. Imagine a broad struck-off metal set with a double die obverse and a major die crack, all on a single specimen, creating a one-of-a-kind piece that would be the crown jewel of any collection. And condition is critical in determining the value of any coin. But for an error coin like this, it's even more important, because the sharper the details and the more pristine the surfaces, the more dramatic and attractive the error appears, which is why coins graded MS67 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC can fetch prices exponentially higher than lower-grade examples. And the rarity of surviving high-grade 2008 error cents is amplified by the fact that pennies are heavily used in commerce, meaning most of them quickly acquire scratches, nicks, and wear from circulation. And when an uncirculated example is discovered with its full luster intact, it immediately stands out to experienced collectors. And the story of the $4 million 2008 penny is further enriched by the element of chance involved in its discovery, because many of these coins are found by sheer luck in bank rolls, change jars, or estate collections, and in some cases, people have unknowingly spent them, allowing them to circulate unnoticed for years before finally being spotted by a sharp-eyed enthusiast, and each discovery sends ripples through the numismatic community, sparking renewed interest and excitement as collectors dream of making their own life-changing find, and the market for such coins is not limited to the United States, as there is strong international demand for modern U.S.-era coins, especially from regions where American currency is widely collected or admired for its historical and artistic qualities, and this global demand ensures that whenever a top-tier 2008-era penny surfaces, there will be fierce competition to own it, often resulting in bidding wars that push prices into the millions. And part of what makes these coins so captivating is the fact that their existence is a tangible reminder that even in an age of advanced technology and quality control, human and mechanical errors are still possible, and when they happen, they create artifacts that capture a moment in time, a fleeting imperfection preserved forever in metal. And as time passes and more of these coins are lost to damage or hoarded by collectors, the scarcity only increases, driving values higher and adding to the mystique. And when you put all of these factors together, the rarity of certain errors in 2008 pennies, the stunning visual appeal of doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, lamination flaws, die cracks, and transitional off-metal strikes, the near impossibility of finding one in pristine mint state condition, the feverish demand from a worldwide collector base, and the stories of chance discoveries that fuel the dreams of treasure hunters, it becomes clear why a coin with a face value of 1 cent can justifiably be valued at $4 million, making it not only a financial asset but also a cultural and historical artifact of immense importance. And so the legend of the 2008-era penny continues to grow, inspiring collectors and non-collectors alike to look at their change differently, because you never know when that unassuming copper-colored coin in your hand might actually be a life-changing treasure. And if you've enjoyed this in-depth journey into the story of the $4 million 2008 1-cent coin and the incredible world of rare mint errors, be sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss another unbelievable tale of everyday coins worth unimaginable fortunes. Last 1995 1-cent coin, a fascinating journey into the incredible world of rare and valuable coins where something as small and seemingly ordinary as a 1995 1-cent coin can actually be worth an astonishing $5 million. And while most people would look at a penny and see nothing more than a common copper-colored piece of change hardly worth bending over to pick up, those who know the secrets of coin collecting and numismatic history understand that certain minting errors, unusual variations, and rare production circumstances can elevate a coin from pocket change to a life-changing treasure, and the 1995 penny is a perfect example of this transformation, because in that year the Denver Mint produced millions of ordinary 1-cent coins struck on standard copper-plated zinc planchets weighing 2.5 grams. Yet hidden within that massive production run were a handful of extraordinary pieces that somehow escaped the mint with unique characteristics that collectors prize above all else. And to truly understand how a penny from 1995 could be worth $5 million, we have to look closely at the types of errors and mistakes that occurred during its creation, because every minting error tells a story about the moment the coin was struck, the machinery involved, and the conditions under which it was produced. And in the case of the 1995 penny, one of the most valuable varieties involves an extremely rare double die obverse, an error that happens when the design elements on the working die become misaligned during the hubbing process, causing inscriptions like, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1995, to appear doubled when examined under magnification. And while the double die obverse of 1995 is famous for the Philadelphia Mint issue, It is almost unheard of in the Denver Mint issue, which makes any example instantly valuable. And then, there are off-metal strikes, which occur when a coin is mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or even for a foreign coin. And for the 1995 D penny, there are known examples struck on dime planchets or planchets intended for coins of different countries, which results in the coin being lighter, thinner, and sometimes even a different color than standard cents, making it an obvious anomaly. And further increasing rarity are broad strike errors, where the collar die fails to contain the metal during striking, producing a coin that is wider and flatter than normal, or off-center. Strikes where the blank planchet was not properly centered between the dies, causing part of the design to be missing and a crescent of blank space to appear, and the degree of off-centeredness can significantly affect value, with examples around 50% off-center while still showing a full date being the most desirable. And then we have partial collar strikes, which leave the edge of the coin with a distinctive step-like appearance. Clipped planchets where a curved section of the coin is missing due to a malfunction in the blanking process, and lamination errors caused by impurities or bonding problems in the metal that result in peeling or flaking of the coin surface, each of which adds to the allure for collectors. And beyond these, some 1995 D pennies exhibit die cracks or cuts where parts of the die have broken away, leaving raised lines or lumps of metal on the coin that are unique to each specimen. And when these cracks intersect major design elements such as Lincoln's profile or lettering, they become especially interesting to enthusiasts. And perhaps the rarest of all are the transitional errors, in which a coin is struck using a leftover planchet from an earlier year or a different metallic composition than intended, a mistake that can only be confirmed through precise weight and metallurgical testing, but which instantly transforms the coin into a one-of-a-kind artifact. And when you combine multiple errors on a single coin, say, an off-metal strike with a dramatic off-center design and a double die obverse, you create something so rare and unique that serious collectors will engage in fierce bidding wars to secure it, often driving the price into the millions, especially if the coin has been preserved in exceptional condition. And speaking of condition, the grading of a coin is one of the most critical factors in determining its market value, with coins in mint state 67 or higher commanding vastly more than those with visible wear. And since pennies are typically subjected to heavy circulation, finding a high-grade 1995 D-era penny is extraordinarily rare, and that scarcity is part of why the most pristine examples can reach values like $5 million, and the provenance of the coin, its history of ownership, can also add to its prestige, especially if it comes from a famous collection or was part of a well-known discovery. And the market for these coins is not confined to the United States, because collectors around the globe appreciate the artistry, history, and rarity of U.S.-era coins, meaning demand is consistently strong and competition intense whenever one of these pieces surfaces, and countless stories circulate in the collector community about people finding valuable era pennies in pocket change, at estate sales, in bank rolls, or even in old jars of coins kept in the back of a drawer. And every such discovery reignites the dream that anyone could stumble upon a fortune in the form of a small copper-colored disc, and the excitement of the hunt is part of what drives the popularity and rising value of coins like the 1995 D penny. And as time goes on, more of these coins are permanently removed from circulation either through damage or because they are tucked away in private collections, further reducing the number available on the market and increasing the value of those that remain. And the $5 million figure is not simply an arbitrary number, but a reflection of the rarity, condition, desirability, and historical importance of these coins, along with the intense competition among elite collectors willing to pay record-breaking prices for the chance to own a truly unique piece of numismatic history. And the combination of these factors makes the 1995 D penny not only a financial asset, but also a cultural artifact that connects us directly to the fascinating world of minting and the occasional but spectacular mistakes that occur within it. And knowing all of this, it's clear that the next time you come across a 1995 D penny, it's worth taking a moment to look closely at the date, the lettering, the edges, and any signs of doubling, off-center striking, unusual weight, or strange coloration, because you might just be holding a treasure worth far more than you ever imagined. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible story of the 1995 D1 cent coin and the unbelievable ways that minting errors can turn everyday change into a multi-million-dollar prize, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss another amazing tale of rare coins worth fortunes hiding in plain sight.